What is going on, everybody? This is 13 with Superior Mobile by 13. Today I want to show off all of the paint work that I did on my personal car, my 2020 Hyundai Kona EV. These are generally not services that I have to offer to clients. I think if you want body panel paint work, you should go to a body shop. However, of course, this is my personal car, so I'm going to do all sorts of crazy stuff I wouldn't do for clients. And what I really want to communicate with this video is how much you can transform the look of a vehicle with some tasteful and imaginative paint. If it needs to be said, I am anti-vinyl wrap, and that's only because vinyl wrap is a waste of materials and it is temporary and paint is permanent. So if you're going to do it right. So let's go over all of the things that I did. Starting with the bottom of the front, this lower section is painted. Obviously, that green is not standard. It is actually a GM color. It's called It's Green O'Clock, and I absolutely love it. I chose it for my accent color among this vehicle. This lower grille section over here on this whole area used to be solid plastic. I cut it open, and the same on that side. Something I do want to point out as far as the detail of the paintwork is the support ribs. As you can see, I painted those black, and that just makes them disappear as soon as you back out a little bit. This whole front bumper section right there, there's a whole other video on that. I did a lot of body work to that, and I painted that. And then this whole piece right across there, I call that the mustache. That used to be a silver. I painted that. The headlights down here, as well as these upper lights there, I painted the internals of those gloss black and the accent green. There are separate videos on each of those components. The hood, I did not paint. The fenders, I did not paint. However, these body panels right along here, the fender flares, I guess you'd call them, I painted those. And these are deceptively tricky because, as you can see, they flare up quite large, and so I didn't want all of that section to be green. That would have been a little bit gaudy. So I had to create this paint line, this curve, and I did that all by hand. And if I do say so myself, I did a pretty darn tootin' good job at keeping it perfectly even. That being said, I also painted the amber reflector the matching green. Continuing around the vehicle, these lower sections, painted the lower rocker panel green, and then these lower door inserts, I'm not really sure what we want to call those, I guess lower rocker panels, painted that white, and painted those inserts to the inserts green. I'd like to specify that every single one of these plastic panels was removed from the vehicle for painting. That way I could properly clean it, scuff it up, make sure all of the edges got done properly, and if I had to do any post-production wet sanding or buffing, I could do that easily on the tables. Illustrating my attention to detail, if you open up the doors, this lower rocker panel, I did a tape line the whole way down it, so it's painted white on the inside and green on that lower area. Opening up the front door, you can see that detail is continued all the way through, and this is totally unnecessary. I could have done green all the way in, and that would have probably looked just fine, but I didn't think it would be right. Continuing onwards, this little plastic insert right here, that got painted white. This fender flare right here also got painted white, and then also that green. Moving back up over here, this one was actually a really deceptively large project, is the inside of this little piece right there in the side mirror. That used to be chrome, so I had to disassemble the side mirror, take out that little piece right there, use the ultrasonic cutter to cut it open, paint the internals black, and then reseal it, and then reassemble all of this. So a lot of work just for a very tiny little accent, but had to make sure that there was no chrome left on this vehicle. Door panels and door handles are still factory paint. Rear quarter panel on the body is still factory paint. Coming up to right here, this used to be that mottled black kind of textured OEM plastic. That's just garbage. I absolutely hate that stuff. It's the stuff that when it's exposed out to a lot of sunlight, it starts to fade, kind of turn like a grayish whitish color. So that was built up with high build polyester primer and then sanded. So I actually removed all of the texture and made it smooth, and then painted it and clear coated it. And the exact same with this panel right here. So these two pieces were both that textured black and ended up nice shiny OEM black. Continuing on around the car, I have painted the third brake light. That's up there, that nightshade stuff, so you can't even really see it, but the brake light still shines through it, but it disappears otherwise. Moving down, the actual taillight assembly, which is the reverse and the turn signal. There's a whole separate video on that paintwork. This piece right here across there, that's actually OEM white. I painted this lower section on the bottom black, and then of course that huge piece of green that goes all the way around, and then I created this line right there. This is actually just a tape line, if you can see up real nice and close and personal on that. And then of course all of this piece right here, all of that is all one piece of big plastic, and so that got painted white, and then with that green instead of this whole thing being like a weird gunmetal gray. Absolutely completely changed the look of this rear end. Let's see, moving around the car some more. What else did we do? Okay, so the vents, these window shade things all across there, those actually come as kind of like a dark smoked plastic, so that was unacceptable to me, so that got painted as well. So it's all the OEM black, so it's got that nice little pearl in it. Let's see if I can slow down. You can see it like right there. And then finally, I think we're just gonna end right on the wheels, if you haven't noticed that. So I painted the wheels on the Juke and decided that I hated the experience and I would never do it again, but these actually were really enjoyable to paint because since they're EV wheels, they've got these large flat surfaces that made it actually really simple. And then there's just these 5 inserts that go around. So of course one insert is the green and every other insert is the black. I also painted the lug nuts and the center cap to make sure that everything played together well. You can see how beautiful and shiny and reflective it is. Hi guys, how you doing there? And then of course the calipers in there are also painted that green. If we scooch onto the back wheel, you can see the calipers back there are also painted green, but we can barely see them. Here you go, this side gives me a little bit of a better look. And that's one of my favorite things about this car, is that I put a lot of effort into painting little details that no one would ever notice. For example, that stupid piece of plastic right down there, I painted this, and don't ask me why, because no one would ever see that, and that's really silly. However, here's a nice look at the front painted caliper on that one. And now I just realized that I can't actually end on the wheels because there's one other thing that I really painted, and that was the whole flippin' roof. Now you can see it's been recently polished, and it's not an absolutely perfect paint job, although it is pretty darn acceptable. You can see it is nice. And the reason that I repainted the entire roof is because I shaved the antenna. That shark fin antenna absolutely drove me bonkers on this car. Basically, I cut a big hole in the roof, did some body filler, smoothed it all out, used some primer to blend it, and then because I don't know how to actually blend paint or clear coat, I just masked off and repainted the entire roof. Now the roof was originally black on this car, which is why I kept it black, but honestly, I'm still in debate as to whether or not I like having a black roof in Florida, because it's kind of a terrible concept. But with the exception of potentially repainting the roof to a white color, I have completed all of the exterior paintwork that I want to do on this vehicle, and I'm extremely pleased with the results. My official stance to customers is that I will paint anything that will fit on a table, because I don't want to get into the business of painting body panels. I'm simply not cost effective to do paint work due to my labor rate. That being said, I absolutely love painting. It's a lot of fun, and I really do genuinely believe, as you can see here, that you can just absolutely transform the look of a vehicle and follow the OEM body lines and create a whole new look. So that's all. I just want to do a little humble brag and show off my beautiful Kona EV. I think it's the best looking Kona that I've ever seen, and every time I pull up next to another white one on the road, I always just think, wow, do they even recognize my car? Anyways, that's it. This is 13 with Superior Mobile by 13. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this video. If you have any comments or critiques or insults or maybe just compliments about this car, be sure to leave a comment down below. For everyone who says nice things, I hope you have a wonderful day, and if you say mean things, shame on you. This is 13 with Superior Mobile by 13. I'll talk to you later. See ya.